So within purpose, taking responsibility, holding yourself accountable in each and every environment that you find yourself in, is having an understanding of your purpose. Now again, for the younger ones in your room, who do you want to be? What do you stand for? Why? They're questions you should be asking yourself all the time. And not just for the younger ones, but also for the older ones. And in asking yourself those questions, what you're starting to do is formulate a plan around character and identity. And if you take a triangle, and at the top of that triangle is who you want to be, what it is that you stand for, your identity. The person as in self, but also that person who everybody else sees. Does it make sense? Now, a lot of people scratch their head and go, I don't have an answer to those questions. They're pretty hard questions to answer. And when you get thrown a why all the time, it does your head in. Kids, anyone got kids? Plenty of kids? My 4-year-old, he's going on 5. Every single thing that I say is met with why. Yeah? Constantly just get why. Why? Because they're so inquisitive. They just want to learn. It's not like they've even been taught that process. It's just the nature of life. It's instinct. But as we get older, we lose that. We stop questioning ourselves. We stop questioning others. We start taking a lot of what is said on face value rather than doing our own investigation and peeling back the layers and figuring things out for ourselves. And in doing that, you'll be surprised the path that you might end up on. Has anyone got any questions on the purpose? I believe it's extremely important because without purpose or direction, understanding your why over time, you're susceptible to being blown in any which direction. If the wind's coming from the west, that's the direction you're going. If it's coming from the north, you get where I'm going with that. You're wishy-washy. You're not anchored. You don't have direction.
Was there a turning point for you yourself going from military, a service background, wanting to help people with their health and find their goals and be a better version of themselves?
Yeah. So in my transition out of the army back in 2004, I was scratching my head. I was just like, what am I going to do? I'd always enjoyed training from an early age. I'd been very hyperactive. Got into the gym in my teens, found myself in the army at 18. So at 29, when I got out of the army, it was like, what am I going to do? I enjoyed training. I thought, I'll do my Cert 3, my Cert 4. I can train, to my heart's delight, and then I can train other people and help them improve their quality of life, change their lives. It wasn't really any more, in depth than that. It was just quite high level, here's an opportunity, okay, I'm going to point myself in that direction and have a go. And I did that. Left the military, did my Cert 3, Cert 4, started working in a gym, in a Fitness First. And within that year, I was introduced through some guys I'd been in the army with to the casting agent for The Biggest Loser. I was presented with that opportunity, jumped through all the hoops necessary, and then I found myself standing at the front gates of The Biggest Loser house thinking, what the hell am I doing? A year ago, I was in the army, quite indoctrinated in that sense, felt very comfortable in my comfort zone of army. And now here I am in a civilian world, interacting with, people as such, very much outside my comfort zone. And I was having to deal with essentially broken people, contestants who their lives had fallen apart, and as much fear as they were experiencing, I was as well. It was just lucky that I didn't have to talk too much. But in that as well, in leaving the army, I came out of the army with very much an in or out attitude to life. And that's the way the army, especially the Special Forces, treats you. There's an expectation, there's a standard, and you live up to that standard, you meet those expectations, well, there's the door, buddy. Yeah, there's no Mr. Nice Guy, and we were reminded every single day, practically, just because you wear that beret doesn't mean anything. It's a daily renewable contract. Every single day. I saw some of the best guys I've ever known kicked out of the unit for little things. Yeah? And another thing that was instilled in us was it's stewardship, not ownership. And I believe that as a human of this earth. You know, we don't own anything. At the end of the day, it all goes back in the box, as we do. And it's our job to cultivate and provide a flourishing environment for those that come after us. Hence why I'm standing here today. You know, I could talk about training and the ins and outs and how to do a squat and a push-up and, you know, the stuff that you will learn, but more so with your clients than anything, you've got to get inside their heads. And it's your life experiences and what it is that you do and don't do and what you can learn from that, and then your ability to relate that or relay that to them.